Mmm. Spaghetti. Making a sausage for the spaghetti. Hi, I'm Robert McCarthy, and I'm here to help you figure out what Flocabulary is all about. So what we're going to do is we're going to go find Robert McCarthy, and we're going to ask him some questions about Flocabulary. Are you ready? Let's go find him. I think he's in the Airstream. He told me he'd be in here, so he better be in here.
I can't wait to start distance learning. It's so much fun, it's not complicated. Wait, is somebody... Yeah, who is that?
Mac, you in there? Robert.
Yeah, I'm in here. Need to talk to you about Flocabulary. A bunch of teachers are trying to use it this school year for distance learning. You want to talk about Flocabulary? I love Flocabulary. Actually, better than that, my kids love Flocabulary. And it's gonna ask you some frequently asked questions, okay? So things that a lot of teachers ask about when they learn about Flocabulary. Sure, yeah, come on in, take a seat.
Hey, this is a nice place. Pretty cool. What year is this Airstream? Looks like a 68.
So I got some questions for you.
Here's the first question. What is Flocabulary?
Great question, great first question, by the way.
It's a learning program, basically. You know, it's for all grades. It's got educational hip-hop music. Totally engages students and actually gives a teacher a break too, because you get some hip-hop going in your classroom when there's not a lot of music usually playing in classrooms. And it does increase achievement. I can definitely say that. Kids, when I've surveyed kids about all the different programs they've used, and I did a lot of distance learning during summer school, and Flocabulary was one of their favorites for sure. It's easy to use for teachers, and it's great to change it up a little bit, giving some Flocabulary homework instead of your regular homework that you usually dish out.
Okay, cool. What subjects does Flocabulary cover?
Subjects. It covers a lot of subjects. I'm a math and science teacher, so I use the math and science content, but it also has language arts, social studies, vocabulary, and life skills. So I'll use some life skills videos during my advisory class. If I'm a teacher, when should I play a Flocabulary video? Like, should I play them all? Should I play just a few? Like, the kids burn out. When should I play one? When should you use one? I don't know, it depends on the teacher. Some teachers use Flocabulary for all the lessons that they cover, and that can be too much, I think, especially if you have a multiple subject credential. I'm a math science teacher, so I probably use, 3 or 4 per month. You don't want to overuse these two, because then they kind of lose their appeal. All right, with all this technology, Robert, Mac, right? You want to be called Mac? Okay. With all this technology, how hard is it to get kids into this program so I can track their learning and assign stuff? What do I do to do that? I think most Berkeley Unified School District teachers, they're using Google Classroom, and all you gotta do is import your rosters from Google Classroom to Flocabulary. It's as easy as that. Hey, that sounds pretty easy. Okay. Next question was, I memorized them all. It was, how do I find videos on content that I'm looking for? Yeah, finding videos, it's pretty easy. You can search by subject, or there's a search bar too. You can type in anything you're learning about, and it'll pull up anything related to that topic. All right, last question. Thank you. This is very valuable. So, Flocabulary offers a wide menu of a lot of stuff you can choose from. How do you spin it? How do you give it to the kids? How do you feed it to them? Another great question. What's a good sequence for a session? It depends. It depends on what kind of lesson you got and how much other things you have for that lesson. Sometimes in my math class specifically, I got so much stuff to choose from. And if I do, I'll still do Flocabulary, but I'll just use the bare bones method, which is basically watching the movie, doing the quick review, and then doing the quiz. I'll let students run the quiz too. I'll ask our volunteers to read off the questions, and they get to pick on people, and whoever answered a question can pick on the next person. All that kind of putting it back on the students to facilitate the program for the quiz, for sure. But sometimes, it's like, I don't have a lot of stuff for this, or I really like what Flocabulary is doing for the lesson, and there's a whole series of stuff you can do, and you want to dig a little bit deeper, and I'll do that about twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, where you're using most of the resources for the unit. What it is you're watching the video, and then you're watching it again, and you're doing the discussion questions as you do it. There's vocabulary cards, which the students create, And then there's a vocabulary game, which is cool. They're answering different questions about the words, and then it creates a more complex beat as it goes on. And there's a read and respond piece too. So students are responding to a small paragraph of information about the topic as they go. And then the quiz, and then the really cool thing called Lyrics Lab, which is fun. They can write a poem or put it to music and do a song. So awesome we got to get together here and do this. That's a lot of information, and it's going to be very helpful. I want to thank you for giving some time. You're welcome. Hopefully you can get back to your song. That song sounded awesome. I don't believe that you're ready to go back to distance learning, but I want to believe it. I can't wait to start distance learning. It's so much fun, it's not complicated.